It's hard to get in the zone. Okay.
AutoZone. Get in the zone.
Right.
We obviously shop at different places.
Oh, it's the radio commercials. Okay. Hello.
Welcome. This is Janet. This is Kent.
Now we know who everyone is. This is Manny versus Mommy, the podcast thing.
The conglomerate of things.
Yes, yes, that. We might have a crying child in the background. It's fine. That's real life right
It's
there.
just how things happen. Okay, so I think to start off, we need to do our 3 things.
Oh.
So give me, if you would, a topic, and I'll do either 3 words or 3 very short phrases to answer your dying question.
Wait, do I get follow-up questions? Do
No.
we get explanation?
No follow-up, no
not at all.
explanation, nothing.
Okay. So first topic is, tell me about your best vacation.
Best vacation? Disney cruise? Wait. Okay. Disney cruise?
Mhm.
Alone on a beach. British ladies.
Ooh. Like the Golden Girls, but British?
British.
So now I do the same,
yeah,
right?
I do the same.
The fun thing is, if you pick a topic, I know that you plan out already. You know exactly what you're gonna say. You know exactly how it's gonna go. You've planned it out because it's your topic.
Mm-hmm.
I pick a topic. You saw me. I just picked a topic last second because I had a list that I was just like, okay, I gotta have some of these ready to go. And I don't decide. Even if I decide the night before what the topic is, I don't decide what I'm gonna say until it's time. Which is,
Do you know what's interesting?
yes.
I plan everything out always. The only thing I will just pick right in the moment is at restaurants. I'll look at the menu.
Interesting.
I never decide until the waitress is looking directly at me saying, or waiter, saying, what do you want? I'll do this, just whatever first pops into my head. I
Interesting.
rarely ever
Do you
pre-plan.
like have a whole list of things that are a possibility at that point from looking at the
Like I've
menu?
kind of looked through and seen,
Got a
and
handful
typically
of
I know
ideas.
like what I like, so, but I also like trying everything, so.
So it's the last minute.
It's just a last minute
That's so
snap.
funny.
This is what I want.
And see, for me, I won't try new things for food.
I know,
I
I've
don't.
been with you when you've ordered.
Yes. I'm like, I don't know. What's your recommendation? No, that's not going to work. But I also am the kind of person who will try your dish. Can I have a bite? So that then I know next time if that's what I want to get. Because I don't want to waste my whole meal on something that I don't end up liking. Like, I would be so sad.
There's very few things I don't like, obviously, that I don't like to eat, so for me it's not a concern.
And see, for me, it's more about the experience. Like, I want to have a good experience of, this is something I really enjoy because I enjoy spending time with the people and the food's good. And if I don't like the food, I'm like, great, there goes the whole thing. Throw the baby out with the bathwater, like I'm over
All
it.
that's right.
Yes, exactly. Okay, the topic was best vacation. Cancun. Traveling alone. Fish eating my feet.
I have
It's your
very
turn.
strong feelings about fish kiss and those places that the fish just gnaw the dead skin.
It was at the mall. Oh, no explanation. Go.
No explanation. What am I going for? Oh, topic. for
Yeah,
the
I
topic
thought we
today?
were doing 2 of, yeah, aren't we doing?
Oh, I thought
Oh,
we would.
yeah,
When I do the
alternating.
topic, I thought we would.
We're still figuring this out.
We'll get it.
That is.
So you had right before we recorded, you said you had a topic you want to talk about.
I do, actually.
What is it?
So it's kind of a hot topic, I feel like, not just in the parenting world, but in the education world, in the we're human beings world, in the we're Americans world. Like, it's a really hot.
It's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing. It's very highly debated, and it's very it's actually getting very heavily researched right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the fact that I can say our kids, right? Because they pretty much are. They don't have smartphones. So can you speak to that? Because I have to give credit where credit is due. I would not have the strength without you.
Well, so when I first started, August 2016, your 3 oldest kids all had smartphones, and they were complete zombies, like obsessed. So I talked to you a little bit about that, and with my other work that I do with social media and companies I've worked with that, I've read articles about how bad smartphones are, and especially around bedtime, and how it messes up your sleep cycle and all these different things. So I was just
Which is kind of what I want to get into.
Yeah.
It is all the reasons, but this is a lengthy topic, so if we can't cover it all today, we can revisit it.
Oh, did you start the timer? 15 minutes?
No.
Okay,
We're
so that
starting
was just
a
our
timer so we
precursor.
stay on topic. Yes. Okay.
So 15 minutes, just so we don't go, 2 hours like we will typically do.
Like we will, yeah.
When the 15 minutes ends, that's it. We're done discussing it for right now. If we want to address it later, we can.
Yeah, if there's
but that's it.
questions or follow-up or anything.
So I suggested with you way back when, like, hey, around bedtime, we've got to get these smartphones away from the kids. And you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I make them put them all in a basket, and around mealtime too. And we put the basket away, and then I'd be on my merry little way, and your kids would sneak back up, grab their phones, and be on their smartphones. And so it evolved when I came back working with you again to being like, we just got to get rid of the smartphones completely. They are so screen obsessed, just like I am, and just like you are.
Just like we are, yes. But our brains are different.
Yeah.
Our brains are developed, their brains are not developing. There's so much research going into this, and that's the kind of stuff that you sent me that made it real for me. When I start looking at, the statistics, and we're not fact-based here, we're flying off the cuff. I'm not going to post the studies or whatever, but
I can, I've got them all saved.
Yeah, right. The gist of it is that depression rates are skyrocketing. Suicide rates for boys are up, I can't remember what percent,
Teenage
but I know
girls.
for girls, it's up 50%.
Yeah.
50% increase in completed suicides. These are not suicide attempts, these
Calls
are completed suicide. Like, there's so many things that are just horrible. Depression, anxiety, so many studies that show that it's just not helpful for teens because of so many reasons. The social media, the fact that, hey, so-and-so and I are out.
Can you imagine high school today with social media?
Exactly. There's so many things that I did growing up that I'm like, thank goodness we did not have the internet. Because if I had done something like that, and now it's where everyone can see forever because the internet doesn't disappear.
You just take a screenshot and you can send it to
it
whoever
doesn't.
you want.
It doesn't go away. And even if you delete it, it's there. Like you said, somebody can take a screenshot and it is forever there, knowing that that's what you did. And to follow you around for that long, it makes me wonder with politicians. Political stuff's on my mind presently for a variety of reasons, but because of this time of year. But with the political stuff, you think about a political candidate 20 years from now, good luck, friend.
Yeah.
Good luck. Because back in the day, it was so-and-so said they saw. No, there's video now. There's audio recording.
Well, it's not even that. Imagine your grandkids Googling their parents and finding stuff. And
there's no looking through old shoe boxes and
we don't
photos
live...
that you actually hung on to.
Yeah, that you kind of filter through. We don't live in a great world where everyone just wants the best for each other. There's a lot of people out there that will hold on to grudges, will be vindictive.
And trolls in general.
Yeah.
Look at this stranger that I don't know doing this thing that I don't approve of, or that I think is funny, or that is absolutely dangerous. How many times have we seen in the news stories of people who are recording, teens especially, who got charged, I don't remember what state, but got charged for the death of someone because they just sat and watched him die, and they video recorded it and laughed.
That actually happened here in Utah.
Did it really?
Not the laughing part, but recorded a girl. I just watched a 2020 Dateline something show about that, and it's crazy. But
how disconnected are we as human beings that I can do this?
Because you're looking through a screen, it's not really happening.
It's not really happening.
It's the same thing, the same argument that they had about kids watching violent cartoons and stuff. They don't realize that are playing video games. When life is over, life is over. There's no restart. There's no
you don't get another life.
Like, that's it. That's over. So Can I tell you one of the main reasons why I pushed it so hard?
Yeah.
Because your kids had unfiltered, unlimited access to the internet. And that was, to me, that was just mind-boggling. Because they could go and see or talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a little terrifying. Because, like you said, their brains aren't developed. They're not ready for that amount of responsibility.
That responsibility, yeah. Because one of my favorite books for getting, to a place as a parent where I had to bring someone in to help care for my children because I've pretty much always been a working mom. The responsibility that I carry in choosing someone like Kent, who is responsible, who I know I can trust with my kids, that's a scary thing for any parent. To say, this is my blood, this is my life, this is my child, who do I trust? How do I know I can trust them? Can I trust myself to choose someone that I should be able to trust? Because stories abound of people who choose someone that they think they can trust and it turns out they can't. That's maybe through no fault of their own, but the pressure for me to decide, how do I do that? So one of my favorite books is by Gavin DeBecker. It's called Protecting the Gift. It is an incredible, you've read it, right?
No.
Oh,
I don't think of it.
how did I let you slide? How did I let you slide? Because I feel like every care provider I've had, I really am like, this is, and maybe it's just because of who you are that I'm like, he already gets it because you're obsessed with true crime, because there's so many things that like you just are who you are. But there's this book that teaches you when your kids are ready to take on responsibility for their own safety. And I think that's what you're referencing is, there's this checklist of they need to be able to know their address and their phone number and that they can say no to an adult and who to reach out to for help and, all these kind of things that kids don't really have until they're in their teens easily. I mean, if you've got a kid that by 12 or 13 is capable of being responsible for themselves to say, go on the subway or the public transit or, walk home from school that's a longer period of time, it's just, there's so many things that go into it that trigger something
Just
for you
like,
to go.
let's talk about one of your youngest kids being so trusting that they get into neighbors' cars.
Oh, yeah.
The stress I feel. And I'm like, I want to know everybody in the neighborhood. I want to know what's going on. I want to know everything that's going on just because I don't like the unknown.
Well, and
So
as
then
a
when-
nanny, that's an issue for you too, is having kids come in the home.
Oh, that's a big issue.
But
And
let's table that for another time.
Well, to briefly describe that, I don't like kids in the home if I'm here. They are welcome to play out in the backyard or go to the friend's house if we know the parents, but I will not let your kids' friends in the house if I'm here because I don't want any risk of anything.
Unless you know the parents. Unless
If
you
I've met
know
with the
them,
parents, we're
yeah.
comfortable, and the parents have given me permission, great. That's a different, but that's only happened with maybe 2 of your kids' friends
Yeah.
to that extent. But I just, if it's not a possibility, it's not going to happen. There's
It's
no
not worth the
accusations.
risk. Yeah, it's just not worth the risk.
But back to smartphone
Back to
use.
smartphones. Yeah, we kind of diverted.
A little tangent. So, what did you think the first time I was like, we have got to get rid of the smartphones and give your daughters flip phones?
Mostly I was terrified.
Hold on one second. You need to go back to your room and we will talk in just a minute, okay? We're recording. Go back, please. This is real life. Okay, see ya. Have fun. Let me know if you get kidnapped. Okay, so what did you think the first time I was like, we gotta get rid of the smartphones, we gotta give them flip phones?
I think the first emotion was fear, honestly, because things had been that way. Like, to me at the time, it felt as scary as letting someone have a driver's license and then taking it away. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a freedom, it was a privilege, it was a connection. And I had worked really hard to avoid it for that long, to be fair. And I don't know that we've talked about this.
We have,
But,
that's why I asked.
yeah. So I had pushed really hard to avoid it. The kid's dad and I had decided they're not having smartphones. It's just not happening. And then he and I separated, and my oldest girls were 13, I think, at the time. And all of their friends had smartphones. All of their friends from school, all of the kids in the neighborhood, like, they were already the outcasts before they even got the smartphones for not having one. Because, and it's escalating, I feel like. kids that are 8 now. I'm getting pressure from, well, not
It's
pressure.
so funny because
anymore.
I'm just like, and? Who cares? Like, great.
Here's the thing though, as a single mom, newly separated, with a lot of drama going on and needing a lot of support from my older girls who are now old enough to babysit. And keep in mind, this is the first time that I've been able to leave my kids for a period of time, right? To be able to go,
Hey, young child, please stop doing that.
this is the first time since I've started having children that I have kids old enough to help support. And I need to be able to contact them. Did I have a home phone? For a while, you know, and once they got phones, it was like, hey, I don't need that added expense as a single mom, and I don't need...
But what about the other kids who didn't have access to a phone? See, in my mind, it's like, we just keep the home phone, everyone has access to a phone. If something happens, any kid can grab it. Not, I'm gonna give this teenager a smartphone, but they're gonna hold and protect and not let anybody touch and use.
Right.
So that's just our differences in thinking, like, but I'm not a single mom.
Right, that's what
So I get what you're saying,
I'm
but
living
I'm
the
just
day
like...
to day. I mean, if they're gone,
It's easy to have an opinion on the outside.
I want them to be able to contact me. And now, fast forward 4 or 5 years, you've got a little watch you can put on your 8-year-old, and all they can do is call you or call an emergency number. Like, there's options now that either I didn't know about or didn't exist in 2016. It wasn't as prevalent, I feel like. And so I guess that was only 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was hard for me as a single mom to decide where that risk level was, and I didn't know what I know now, right? So when you know better, you do better. And when you know better, sometimes your kids hate you for taking away their smartphones.
And to lead up to that, it wasn't just all of a sudden your smartphone's gone. We did the basket, they've used that. We downloaded the apps that locked out everything. They've used that. It was such an argument fight.
Yeah, broke into the password, things
just
like
would
that.
reset their phone and do it. And I was just like, I'm done fighting the same fight over and over with each of your kids. They've obviously shown that they can't do it. I gave them articles. We talked about every decision along the way. And finally it was just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I can't invest any more energy into this. There's so much going on. So that's where we got to that point of, now they have smartphones. Now they have flip phones, I mean.
Can I go to your phone provider? Shut the door. Can I go to your phone provider and switch out all the phones, you know? And we decided ultimately to make those music phones, right? That had the app on it for playing music, and that was it. And now those are essentially lost for the most part.
Yeah, they've
honestly,
lost interest in them.
They have, yeah. I don't think we know where a single one is. They've lost
I know
it.
where one is because I took it away from one of your kids.
Yes. All right, so we know
For
where
a
one
different
is.
grounding reason, but
Yes.
yeah, there's only one out of 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah. And it just isn't.
But without having that data access from the cell company and having more control over the home Wi-Fi, it wasn't as much of an issue.
And do you know what we haven't even gotten into is the enabling that's happened from their friends and the complications that has caused in friends' parents providing old phones for them and actually paying for service on these phones.
Which baffles me.
There's a reason they don't have phones. And as a parent to step in and say, hey, 16-year-old, here's a smartphone. Your mom says you can't have one. How mean.
And the frustrating part is it wasn't a naive parent. It was a parent that
very
works in the mental health field. Like, are you kidding? This isn't your child. And why are you giving them...
That's true. I hadn't thought about that. The mom works in the mental health industry. And
And once we explained, mental health reasons why, and all these studies to back it up, she was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But it was I'm just going to do it, and then...
I just can't imagine crossing that boundary. But also along those lines, like, and once I explained to her, like, look, we've got a mental health history. I mean, if you want me to roll it out, let's roll out the family history, the individual history of mental illness and how many lives it's taken in my own personal life. Like, my father completed suicide. My kid's father completed suicide. My entire family, as far as I'm concerned, some of them I feel like won't admit it, but most of my family, immediate and extended, suffer from some kind of mental illness. So I'm not willing, and that's kind of what I think we settled on, is I'm not willing to put my kids more at risk by doubling the suicide right? Or, you know, putting them more at risk. I said, when you're 18 and you can make that responsible decision legally and take ownership of your own mental health, be my guest. But until then, it's just not worth the risk.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point, that not only is it just not good for any teenager, but when you have these individualized risks, because I'm all about individualization, it just is like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And I like that some of your kids have really embraced, like, I'm not going to mess with this.
However, there are kids that won't carry it, right?
Won't carry what?
The phone.
The phone. Oh,
the
yeah.
phone.
Only one of your kids.
Because it's a flip phone. Well, I would
super
argue
embarrassed.
too. I think there's two. The first age and Jay, I feel like, are super embarrassed about it. Like, literally will not take it to school. Or if they take it to school, it stays in the backpack and they don't open it ever because they're so embarrassed. There's our timer.
All right, we're done.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Thank you for watching, listening.
Thanks for being a part of it.
Let us know if you think we made good decisions, bad decisions, or what your thoughts are, because this is, like you said, a very controversial topic.
It is. It's a very heated discussion because I feel like the scales are starting to tip in more and more of the community and our culture realizing that this is not safe. I'm seeing TED Talks and, you know, research studies, like funded studies on how this is not helpful and what do we do? How do you stop that train?
Our time's up. We can't talk anymore about it.
Let us know what you think. What are our socials? Our social
Manny versus Mommy everywhere. Just Manny versus Mommy.
Manny vs Mommy.
Yep. Because Janet has, what is it? You're in charge, but Kent has all the power. So Manny versus Mommy.
Yes, that's pretty much what it is. Manny versus Mommy, because I'm in charge and you actually have all the power. So thanks for watching, listening, be a part of it. Love you, bye.